Hello, I'm Reverend Karen Davis of First Christian Church. When we hear 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13, we usually think of a wedding. More often than not, we've heard those verses recited as a bride and groom lovingly look into each other's eyes. Well, the Apostle Paul is writing those words to the church at Corinth for a lot bigger purposes. Paul wants the Corinthians to be able to do God's work and to have it come from a love deep within them, that they could have all the money in the world that they're giving away. They could have gifts of prophecy. They could do amazing things and check it off their list that, oh, I served God on Sunday. Oh, I placed my offering last week. I'm good. I'm done. Mark that off my list. But Paul is saying to be stewards of God's love and God's grace means a lot more. Paul is reminding the Corinthians that each and every day, not just on Sundays, not just when it's convenient or they feel like it, that the people of God are to be sharing God's love. They are to be working towards sharing their faith, and they are to embody hope. They are to demonstrate to the world that there is more to life than those temporal things that we see, that when life is challenging, when life is difficult, when the world around us is not occurring the way that perhaps we would want it to be, that there is still hope within us, that our faith leads us forth and continues to challenge us to do God's work, that love motivates us to persevere, even when the odds seem against us, even when the work that is to be done seems overwhelming, that each of us is to do our part, that even that tiny mustard seed of faith can bloom and grow into one of the largest bushes that we see on our hillsides as the mustard plants take root and grow. That we are to be those people of God that have faith, hope, and do God's work motivated by love. I invite you this week to reflect on how you are living out God's message, how you are motivated by love to do the work of God. What are you doing to show those around you to have faith and hope in God's grace and God's goodness? May you continue to go forth being a good steward. May you reflect upon what it is that you personally can do to be a steward of all that God has graced you with. What can you do to go forth, following the compass that God has given us to live a life that is faithful, hopeful, and loving? May you go forth following God's word and doing God's work.